Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and I'm also a doctoral student of psychology. Today is the video that a lot of you guys have been requesting, and I finally was able to compile all the things that you wanted. Now, a lot of you guys wanted services from me, so I think that's really important. So I'm going to go over all the pieces by first introducing myself. My name is Amber with an N, so Amber but with an N. It's not any fancy pronunciation. A-N as in Nancy, B-E-R, Amber. And I am licensed in Virginia and DC, and I'm working on Maryland. So it might be Maryland as well. So I can't see patients in California, for example. I'm only licensed in a couple areas. I might go for West Virginia and Florida, depending, but that's in the works. However, the reason why I bring that up is because a lot of you guys don't want therapy. You wanted consulting. However, I can't do consulting. Like, I'm licensed as a therapist and I can't just combine both those things into one practice. And I've been practicing with my master's license for a while, but now that I'm getting my doctorate and soon once I get licensed for that, it was going to create a lot of issues if I put them all under the same thing. It's not going to make sense because you can go from your master's to your doctorate license and you don't have to change your practice information. You just update your license information. However, with consulting, that's not a license. Any random person can do it. And so actually, it creates more ethical issues for me because I don't want to lose my license. And so the only way that this works, and I've asked a couple of my colleagues who do the same thing, you have to have two separate, distinct entities, or if it's not distinct, it has to be doing business as. And so it's separate enough. And so the only way that I could achieve that is I have a separate website, among other things, part of my practice, but you guys don't need to know the nitty gritty of stuff like that, so that I could offer consulting practices. But in order to do so, I need to have, at least this is how I'm doing it, I want to have a specific intake form. And so I do have that. Obviously for therapy, I have an intake form, but I do want to talk about this today so that you guys know if you want consulting with me, it's not going to be like therapy. You're not going to see me every week. It's not like that. My patients, I see them once a week, sometimes twice a week, depending. You guys are going to see me like maybe just once, just that session, or every now and again. And we're not going to focus on mental health. I'm not going to diagnose you. And if you want to see me in consulting, you cannot see me as a patient because that's dual relationships and I cannot do that. In every licensing board, that is not allowed. And I will not do that. And so I do want you guys to keep that in mind. I can see you, like, let's say multiple times, but it is not going to be something that is a reoccurring therapeutic relationship, right? As a therapist, I know my patients in and out. I know what they do. I know what they eat. Sometimes I know more than I should know, but I do, and it's all confidential. That doesn't mean what we're sharing in consulting is not confidential. I still will follow those same ethics, and that's something that I'm just going to do because in general, that also still protects me. So the confidentiality is going to be the same. And so that's nothing to be concerned about from that angle. However, it does mean that if you guys are looking for a diagnosis for like borderline or something like that, you're going to have to come to Virginia, and then you can get a diagnosis from me there. But there are plenty of folks who know how to diagnose that, so that's not too much of an issue. Attachment issues are not a diagnosis, but the childhood portion of it is. And so, for example, if you are a fearful avoidant and you want to work on the childhood issues that you carry, that is something that you will have to do with me in therapy, which means you have to be in my state. However, if you want to work on issues with you and your husband, you guys can do a couple consulting session and we can do that. But I can't talk about your childhood. I can't talk about the social anxiety. I can't talk about those things, at least not too much in detail. And I cannot resolve those issues. I can resolve the communication issues in consulting, but I cannot resolve the medical stuff, which is going to be only in therapy. So I really want you guys to understand that distinction. The other thing is, I still am a person that, because I'm a therapist, obviously I always take notes for my patients, psychotherapy notes and progress notes. And I'm going to protect those notes as well. But I want you guys to understand that these things are not going to be, they're not the same. I'm not going to have you like be in my therapy portal. So like I use therapy notes. Some people use Simple Practice. When I was an intern, my supervisor used Simple Practice. And so I got used to Simple Practice. I've used Theranos, which is now called Insora before. That's like the electronic health record platform, which is where like a lot of the communication goes, like the paperwork, etc. But I can't do that with consulting. Plus I want to keep them separate. And so you're not going to have access to like an electronic health records where you can send me documents or I can ask for a document. It can't be like that. And so I have to put it all on like one page. So what I did was on a website, I just put the document there, and then then you can get that whatever session you want, you can purchase that particular session and then you can schedule it with me. And so all of that has to come into one spot. And so you have to do it at the same time instead of like in electronic health records, you can kind of do it on your own time before the session because you're in the portal and I can see you and you can see me. Like that you're always going to be part of that portal if you're my patient, and I'm always going to be part of that portal. So I can ask you for a document or some insurance information and you can send it when you have it or when it's needed or necessary. But for this one, you have to do it all at the same time. Otherwise, you can't even see me because there's no portal. So I just wanted to explain that to you. And so I have 3 setups. Some of that is based on how I set up my therapy, but it's going to be different. So with therapy, I do family sessions. I'm not going to do any family. So no children in any of these sessions, the consulting sessions. I'm going to do couples consulting and individuals consulting. So for therapy, I have 45-minute slots and 55-minute slots. For consulting, I want to do it as concise as possible. So I want you guys to just basically tell me what you need and we can work on solutions together. It's going to be 30-minute slots and 45-minute slots. I'm also going to do emailing. Now, particularly, I'm going to do like emailing, asking a question where you will ask me one question, just one. You can give me the detailed background and then I will answer within a certain amount of time. And then that will be that particular service. But I think that these things are important for you guys to have or be aware of. Throughout the videos, I'm going to put some more information or updated information if I add more services or whatever it is, and that'll clip within videos so that you know what you're looking for. So the basic point is everything's going to be on just like one website, but my therapy is going to be a separate website. And so if you guys want that therapy website, you can ask me on the comments and I can link it to you, but very likely you guys will not be needing therapy because you're just looking for like attachment particular dynamics. You're just having like one question or 2 questions or whatever it is about your dating dynamics. So likely you're not going to need my therapy information. However, if you need it, I can give it to you. You can also search me. That's not a big deal, but I still have my license information on the consulting website just so you are aware of it. But understand that the consulting portion, it's not using my license. So you cannot reimburse those services. And I'm sorry for that. I really wanted it to be where I could use my license so that you could reimburse it. But that you cannot do that. And there's a lot of ethics that create issues with. So that is, you cannot reimburse consulting services. Therapy services you can, but you cannot. So I just want you guys to be aware of that. I'm going to continuously add more details and clarification and questions you guys have. But for now, we're going to leave it at this. The information about this is going to be pinned in the comments. And so you can have that information about the website, etc. That'll all be pinned in the comments. So you'll have that. And then we'll talk more about this throughout. This is not the only time I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to try and fill you in as much as possible. So I hope this video is helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.